Alrighty folks, welcome back to Doc's Autos, and we're still working on the 72 Challenger. Yep, you guessed it, we're still waiting on parts. We got a few parts, nothing substantial. We still need all the hardware to mount this thing to the vehicle, to figure out where this patch gets cut out and put back in, check out the body lines, and just get ready to do a whole skim coat on this thing for our final bit of bodywork before it goes to paint, or at least primer and seal. But for now, we're gonna keep working on getting this thing ready. Still a lot to do on it. And then we've got the cowl off the front of the car. So we're gonna disassemble that, take stock of what there needs to be cleaned up, repaired, replaced, and just keep working through that. So let's get started. Oh, and so I don't forget, because I always forget, if you don't know by now, hit subscribe below. If you haven't done it, why not? It doesn't take any of your time. It's free, and it helps me. It helps the channel to get better stuff like concrete in the floor, or maybe insulation in here, or I don't know, more lights. Anyways, hit subscribe, check out our merchandise, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Now, to the project. These don't look too bad. Maybe they can get cleaned up, a little pitting. Maybe they can get cleaned up and polished, or maybe they'll just get sent out to be re-chromed with the bumpers, but I certainly think these can be used again. Well, I've managed to lose my Sharpie once again. So I'll find one and mark these. Yeah, now instead of having one workspace I can't find anything in, I have two. We're gonna set these back here right where they go for now. And when I come back, I'll bring a Sharpie with. Get those marked. Now, if we can get these, let's see. I'm gonna have to go grab, well, I can get the headlights out, I guess, here. All right, so I've got to go find a net driver and Sharpie. We'll come back, we'll get this, get the baskets out of these, out of this front end here, out of the nose, and then figure out what we're gonna do with this. There are, you can definitely see there's some scratches, blemishes. Get this piece of chrome trim off of here. I'm guessing this is gonna need to get replaced, just as, looks pretty damaged, scratches, and I don't really see any dents, just kind of scratched up. So I'll see if it can be polished out a little bit, but this may be one of those things, first thing you see in the car, go ahead and get it replaced. But we will be back very soon. Alrighty, well, we are back. The rain has thankfully stopped for a while, and hopefully we'll be able to wrap up this session pretty quickly here. We've got two more things I want to do. Finish taking apart this front end here, and then work on sanding that fender a little bit more. So let's take a look at that. I brought the, finally got the right socket. Finally got the right socket here. So we'll go ahead and take these baskets out, put them in place where they go. We'll get all these things labeled up because I actually remembered a Sharpie. And that'll take care of stripping this down. Aside from this, which does have some other retaining clips on the back, I've got to grab a pliers for that I don't have down here. One more thing I forgot. As I thought, this metal chrome piece in the front is held on with some clips I really need to squeeze in. I don't have my needle nose down here, of course. So I'm gonna have to get that so I can squeeze this in order for it to pop back out to get this piece of trim out. But otherwise, except for this part here that broke, probably try and fill this in a little bit. This is just fiberglass. So I'm not gonna be hitting it with the sandblaster. I'm gonna go over it lightly with probably some 120 or 220. 240, whatever, something 100 grit, and just to knock the loose paint off. And then anywhere we've got these nicks, there's plenty of them on here, nicks or dings from rock chips or just battle scars from life. You take some of that dolphin glaze and fill that in, and just get this thing sanded down as smooth as I can go before I start eating into the fiberglass. And then I'm going to hit it, of course, with the primer. And then it'll be ready for paint. Now, we still have to figure out what to do with some of the broken parts on the front of here to order them up. Like this little molding here, remember it fits in here somewhere, and maybe it fits up here like this. Yeah, something like that. So maybe this piece is broken here a little bit. Yep, looks like if we look over here, this one is not terribly broken out, but the driver's side is. So we may have to fill this in, mold it, come to bust out the fiberglass. Looks like fiberglass, maybe it's something else. Kind of looks like it though. So anyways, we'll see what we can do to get this screw hole built back up so this will fit in here. Again, just another thing to do on this onion, we keep peeling back. But this part I think definitely is going to be savable. If we get into filling it in and realize it's just going to be a giant turd, we will look at other options. But it does look like it's going to be salvageable. Now another piece we've got to look at for the front is a lower valance. We actually have two of them. Both of them are bad in their own respect, I guess. Both have damage, dings, dents, kinks, crumples, whatever to them. So I don't know if we're going to be able to reuse them or if that's something we're going to have to try and source new. I do have the one that came off the car as well as a spare one. I'll show you that in the next video, as well as the rear valance underneath. I have the one on the car right now and a spare. So I'll have to look and see when we get to that end of the car if that's going to be usable, if either of those. So we may be having to replace both the front and rear valance, but we'll give it a valiant effort to get the valance fixed. Valiant, valance, sure. Say that a few times fast. So we're gonna go ahead and get these parts for the headlights expertly cataloged, not Weston Champlin style, but in a nice box, written and cataloged, so we can find them again when we have to put everything back together. Then our last thing here is going to come back and work on that front fender a little bit more, work on that contour where we did all the body work and started the fill, and that's going to wrap out this episode. Alrighty, and now we're back looking at our front fender, and I did go ahead and build up the filler right here where this front ding was, and then here quite a good build up where we had that contour issue and along the style line here. So I know I'm going to need a little more in here. But I'm going to go ahead and start sanding some of this off, work down here, and then come back and probably put on some more fill. Maybe I'll be able to throw on the glaze with the rest of the panel here, but this probably is going to need just a hair more. I can still feel a little high spot right here. So hopefully we'll knock all this down to here, and we'll be good to go. So let's go ahead and get firing away this part and see how we do. Now, if you've watched any of the videos with the 52 Chevy, all the body work on those doors, you'll notice when I'm sanding, I'm trying to go in a crosshatch pattern like this, and then like this, and then straight up and down and across. That means I'm going to go ahead and try and get the most even sanding approach to it. I'm not just digging into one area, and I'm especially not trying to level out one area by taking in the corner of my sanding block here, my soft sander, and digging into a high spot, because that's just going to end up cratering out an area, and you'll have a low spot where you're trying to once fix a high spot. So we're going to go ahead and just cross-hatch this whole area, and you'll see we'll end up coming back with a pretty smooth spot. We'll probably have still a little bit of a low spot here I'll have to take one last final pass at, but that should take care of everything else except right in here. And the reason I'm not putting on one thick, heavy coat is I want to make sure everything dries. Now, it's a little warmer, a little humid today, so it's going to take a little longer to dry, but I don't want to have stuff dry, have the outer stuff cure and dry and leave uncured fill behind it. That's just going to lead to more problems down the road. I'm sure you've seen this in some other videos that they'll do body work and do some repairs on somebody's previous repair, and they'll pull off just cakes and layers of Bondo that never actually fully cured. I'll try and throw a link to that down below where I can find that. I know where it is, I just can't think of where it's at right now. Anyways, gonna go ahead and work on this for a little bit. Nice, easy passes. I'm not grinding in, just nice, light strokes across it, not in a hurry, not trying to grind everything down in 30 seconds. Now I've got these soft sanders here. There's another product called DuraBlock, which I think are a little firmer, but these are nice because you can get a little more contour to the shape of the panel you're working on. And also, if you're putting on a new piece of paper, if you are going to be working on a large area like a trunk or a hood that has an arch to it, you could actually set your sandpaper on the hood or trunk or that curved panel at that angle, and then this soft sander you can kind of mold onto the sanding paper so you'll have, in essence, a little bit of a curve versus just a flat block. And that can also really help you maintain a nice, even path when you're sanding versus you're trying to block sand with a flat, straight block across a curved surface. You can see here I'm coming off with a little bit of a high spot, and then these are going to be my low spots. But I'm starting to get, not so much here, but out here you can see I'm starting to feather in to that filler. Here is still kind of a ridge, but here I've kind of got a nice feather. So that's what you want to have, a nice feather into the filler. You don't want an abrupt edge, because when you prime it or paint it, you're certainly going to see that rough edge. So we'll keep working on this. Let's just go over to the main event over here real quick, and I'll show you that. So here's this big area. You see I've got ridges here, and I'm going to just start knocking this area down and keep working it through. Again, we're going to use our cross-hatching action, back and forth this angle, and then this way. I'm not going to really go this way a whole lot with this block. I do have another more of a curved block. I'm going to work on getting this contour, but not till we knock a lot more down. Question, Tim, why don't you use your DA in this Bay Area since you've got a lot of material to knock down? Well, I tried that earlier, and being this such a small area with this curve here, it was eating in to this area here and leaving a low spot that I was essentially digging a crater into. So taking the time and using the block here, I'm going to get a much better product, end product, even though it's going to take me longer to do. Now you can see I've got my style line here, still a little wavy. And when I actually come back with my final bit of fill and glaze, I can put a piece of tape around here on this line to help guide me. So for now, I'm not really too concerned about this, but I'll eventually get there. Well, no, I'm not going to make you sit through an hour of sanding. We're gonna wrap this one up right here. I'm going to keep working away on it, and the rain's kind of starting again anyways. So we come back next video. Maybe we'll be getting ready for this to be in primer, or at least have some DTM primer on it before our main primer. Maybe we'll have some more parts in. Maybe it'll be running, who knows? We're just kind of taking things as they come. We're waiting on parts, who knows? So thank you for watching this again. If you haven't hit that subscribe button below, check us out. We're on Facebook and Instagram. You'll see content there, posts before we have anything here on YouTube. And also we've got our merchandise over on Teespring. Check that link out as well. And I do appreciate you taking the time to watch these videos. I enjoy doing the content for you, and I'm going to be working on cars anyway, so may as well have some fun sharing some information, knowledge, ideas, whatnot. So until the next video, you guys have a great day, and see you then. Bye-bye.